Welcome to the 360 Kitchen, and I'm about to reveal to you what's never been revealed to anyone else, my secret of making smoked ribs. They are popular among my friends, and but it takes time, it takes a lot of work. And of course, if you talk to 10 people, you'll get 10 ways to make ribs. Okay, let me tell you the don't call ribs ribs. If you're grilling ribs, do not call them smoked barbecue ribs because they're not, right? Most people just take the ribs out, throw a little seasoning on it, put it on the grill, and usually covered with some barbecue sauce, and that is. But I grew up in the southern part of the United States, a place called Texas, which prides itself on making barbecue. And so I ate at some of the dirtiest, smallest, coolest, sharpest, hottest, most popular barbecue joints around, and I learned the taste. And if that wasn't enough, I've spent the last several years just watching competition barbecue and people that have taken away thousands of dollars and big trophies from making ribs. So I'm really just going to give you the beginning, the preparation. You know, one of the favorite sayings in sports by quarterback Russell Wilson is the success is in the preparation, and not in just life or competition, but really with food. So this is the part people don't talk about. They want to talk about the nice thing on the platter, and I'll give you a demonstration of some nice ribs. But really, to make good ribs, start with what I'm doing. So first of all, you got to start with some good ribs. These right here are what's referred to. Let me show you a full one this way you can get the whole picture of it. These are what's called St. Louis cut, right? And what makes them St. Louis cut is they're just cut square down, right? If you go in and you're looking at ribs in the store, there are uncut ribs and they're kind of fatty and they got extra meat on them. But the best ribs are St. Louis cut. I don't know where they came up with the name, so you can Google it. The second part that makes ribs really good, and this is a labor piece, and I'm going to try to demonstrate it for you today, is that on the back of the rib is a membrane. See that right there? See, this is all a membrane here. So I've already got the rib seasoned, but in order to make the flavor get through the rib, you need to go in, you got to remove the membrane. So that is not an easy process. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a knife here. Let me go find it. And what you got to do is you got to actually get up in the rib. So you got to get up into this little piece here. And you just want to slide the knife in, right? You kind of see what I'm doing? You kind of slide the knife in and you just want to loosen up that piece, okay? Right? All right, so this is how you get the membrane off the back. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want the flavor to get in the rib. So once you've done that, what you want to do is you want to take a paper towel or something equivalent, and you just want to grab it. And when you grab it, you're just going to pull it off. And boom, 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 you have pulled off the membrane. And now you've allowed the flavor to get in there even more so into the ribs. Now, for extra credit, you can take them and cut them just slightly each, just so it's getting all the way inside the cavity there, and it is going to add more flavor. Now, in this case, because I'm doing sous vide, right, I'm going to sous vide these for about 15 hours, and you can see the size of my sous vide here is not big enough to put a whole rib in there. So I'm going to have to cut these in half, but that's okay. So we just continue to do that. So I'm going to take this one here, and it's the final one. So same thing. I'm going to rinse and repeat. As I'm holding up, I'm going to find where I can get in. You got to take a fairly sharp knife because you want to just get in and penetrate. See how that just penetrates that? Gets in there. And if you don't do it right, it's going to make it a really tough pull. So once again, I'm going to take my paper towel. And then I'm just going to grab the skin and I'm just going to pull back. You can see it? See, boom. Now, this is competition ribs. Okay, and I can tell you that 99% of people who cook ribs at home do not do this. They don't even think about doing it. But if you're ever in a competition ribs, you got to do the little extra things because the judges are going to know, and they're going to look back there and say, you didn't take the membrane off, right? So this is like life. If you cut corners and you're trying to do a real estate deal or a transaction and you don't do the paperwork properly or you don't negotiate properly, it's going to show up. It's going to expose yourself, right? So here again, I've got this all cut up. And again, all I got to do now is I'm just going to take portion of this, and then I'm going to cut it in, okay? All right. So now I've got these all in my little pan here. Now, again, this is what separates the amateurs from the ballers in the culinary cooking world. Most people would stop here and they would do what they're going to do, either throw it on the grill or they would throw it in the sous vide. But we're not done. So the next piece that we're going to do for really competition level ribs is we're going to inject them. So what I have here is I put together an injection that has rice vinegar. It has, this is my secret little recipe, a little liquid smoke. Don't use too much or you'll affect the flavor of it. And then I've got a browning seasoning. And then I have a liquid amino, which I'm not sure what I did with it. But liquid amino actually breaks down, oh, there it is. What this is, it breaks down the muscles inside the meat. Pork can be tough. This is a tough part of the body for the pig. And so the liquid amino gets in there and it just breaks down the muscle. I'm telling you, it makes it a great eat. So you want to inject it. I have a pretty cool injector here. So most of the time, most people get these ones that are at the store. I'm gonna probably have to take my gloves off here. Most people get these ones at the store. This is a pretty nice one. Almost looks like surgical. So I'm not saying you gotta have a fancy injector, but it helps having like a cool injector. You need a high grade injector. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna take the injector and I'm just gonna push it in here. Right, try to get it in, and I'm just going to inject it in. Now, it's really tough to make it stay in depending on where you put this thing in, but you just want to inject it in, make sure you're getting it good in. You can see that the meat will rise when you're injecting it. And so you just want to do that. And if injecting, the challenge with injection sometimes is getting the fluid out of there. So again, I'm going to take the most densest part of it in, and then I'm just going to shoot it in there. Boom. See that? How it just kind of pops up, and it'll pop back at you if you don't watch it. But so I'm just kind of hit those parts. Again, you want to get it in there, and all of this is going to reflect flavor. It's going to reflect the taste of it when you're smoking it. So I'm going to put mine, when I'm done with these, I'm going to actually put them on a smoker that I have that I bought. I'm living in a place right now you can't really use charcoal, but so I bought a fancy Tesla smoker. It doesn't run on batteries, but it is electric. A lot of cooks would frown on that, but it's what you got, and sometimes you have to use what you got. So again, I'm just injecting the ribs. It is a lot of extra work. It's work that most people won't do, but I'm telling you, when the people eat this ribs tomorrow, they're going to appreciate it. So we're just injecting a few of these. I'm going to do a couple more here, and then we're going to put them in the sous vide so you can kind of see how that is. So get into the sous vide. Again, it's another deep kind of competition level preparation. It's high-end food cooking. Sous vides are fun. I've had them for a couple of years now, and they work. I like them, right? So this is where we're going to put these in. I'm just going to do a couple more here, and then I'm going to be ready to drop these in. And then as a bonus, I'll show you some samples of what I did earlier. And sometimes it's hard with the thinner the rib is, you may not be able to get much injection in. So this is one I'm not going to really mess with because it's just kind of thin. All right, so we got those done. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bag here and pop this open. And then I'm going to take a couple of these at a time. Basically a slab, and I'm going to throw these guys in here, right, one at a time. The reason why I'm having to try to put at least two in there because it'll take up so much room if you just do one. So there we go. I'm just going to put that in there and then seal it. And then to make sure it doesn't go anywhere, what I'm going to do with mine, I'm going to add a little clamp here because I want to make sure that it doesn't, the water doesn't get in, right? You don't want to get water in your food. So that's what I just do in mine. And I just want to make sure it has an extra clamp and it's down and everything is closed. And then I'm just going to stick that in there. And I'm doing this for 18 hours. And that's it. So that really is the process, and we'll just continue to do those until I have them all done. So let me show you as a extra credit. This is some ribs that I previously did. Okay. Now look at this. Look at the bark on the ribs. Right. These are all smoked. They're ready to go. They don't need sauce, but you can use sauce. Again, you can see I just pull them off, but not too tender. What you want with ribs is you don't want them just to all break off. You want a little pull, right? So when somebody's eating it, there's a little bit of a pull, not too much, but you can see these have a little bit of a pull, right? They don't just pull off. So that's what your ribs, you want them to look like. They've got bark, the darkened. It's just the bark and the smoke and the flavor that's cooked in it. So there you go. That is preparation. So using good ribs, a good marinade injection, taking that membrane off the back of it. And, you can skip this step. You could go right to a smoker, or if you got to do it on a grill, I'd prefer that, but really need a smoker. And then you let it go and you cook it low and slow. And the other thing, always remember too, when you're putting ribs on a smoker, just a final thing here, make sure you have, I got one, I won't grab it because it will take too much. Actually, I'm going to grab it for you. Make sure you have something to keep your meat moist while you're in. So this is my little sprayer. It's got some of the same things I used in here, but this is what you want to spray when you're doing meat. This is because it's a smoker. It will dry it out, and you don't want is the skin part to be tough and chewy. And the reason why it gets like that is because you didn't spray it down. Keep it moist. This has been competition level. This is not just your everyday Sunday, but my friends will get to enjoy this. Hey, thank you for joining us. And like life, it takes time. It takes the appearance. It takes extra work. And whether it is your life endeavor or your dream, you got to put the extra time in there where nobody sees. Other than you and me, nobody sees me doing this, but everybody's going to see the end result of the ribs that they will enjoy. But if I didn't do this part right, then they wouldn't be able to enjoy their part. So remember, it is the unsexy, the unglamorous part of training and working out and reading and studying and preparing, which lets you have the glamour of standing on stage and letting people celebrate your gift or your endeavor. This is Lewis Howard. I love to inspire people. I'll see you again on another episode.